Welcome, friends. We're excited to have you today. This is episode 36 of our How We Built This workshop, and we're ecstatic to be with you. If this is your first time, thank you for joining. Please come back again if you're a regular. Thanks for being part of our community. Today we have a very exciting show for you, and we will be talking a little bit about innovative wellness engagement with Abarca Health. If this is your first time, thank you for joining. Please come. So we are super excited to have you today. We'll go a little bit over the agenda. I'm excited to introduce a good friend of ours, Daniela from Abarca. She's going to be telling her story about Abarca specifically and one of their programs that they've put together that's had massive success. So we're really excited for that. So agenda and takeaways today. Well, I'll do a little introduction for Abarca, and then I'll turn it over to Daniela for talking about their cultural progression and their wellness program specifically. Afterwards, like always, we'll do some FAQs and turn the time over for Q&A after we do some takeaways. So again, our format here, if you're joining us for the first time, it's let's get you all the value really quickly. Not a lot of fluff, just a lot of meat. So if you're excited, we're excited, and we'll get kicked off. So Abarca, let me tell you a little bit about them. So Abarca is a pharmacy benefit manager and healthcare organization, and they are headquartered in Puerto Rico. So we're lucky to have Daniela, like I said, joining us today. She's joining from Atlanta, and they have 700 plus users. Or I should say employees in their organization. So they have a sizable organization and they're only growing. They take a lot of pride in their mission, which is to make healthcare seamless and personalized for everyone. And here on the screen, we have for you some of their values. Now we talk about values and what Brandon and I and others here at Awardco have witnessed. They really do live their values, and we're excited to show you how today. So as I turn time over to Daniela to talk about cultural progression, stay aware of the little nuggets and tips and tricks that they've learned along the way to have the success that they have, but I'm excited for her to share her story. So Daniela, without further ado, tell us a little bit about Abarca.
Thank you, Malachi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me here. As mentioned, my name is Daniela Copete. I am part of Abarca Health. We are based in Puerto Rico, but actually we have half of our organization remote in the States, like myself. So I think out of the 50 states, we have almost like 40 states. So we do have, we're growing our population in the States as well. So I joined Abarca around 5 years ago. When I joined the company, we were only around 300. So I've seen the company, grow a lot. Currently, we are over 700, I believe 750 more or less. And ever since I joined and Abarca started, culture has been the most, one of the most important things besides the mission of the company, of course. People is their most important asset, so that's why the culture is super important for them, and there's many different initiatives and activities that we do to embrace and showcase our culture. So as we have continued growing and as the times have changed, we were 2 years ago in a global pandemic. Currently now, things are much better. So what we've done with our culture is basically meet the needs of our organization as we see them evolving. So the same needs that we had 5 years ago are not the same as we have today. So that's how we have strategically partnered with different vendors like Awardco, for example, to exemplify our values and our mission as a company. So where we are today, as you can see in those two pictures, we are a hybrid model. We have people working in the office, we have people outside of the office. In those two pictures, you can see our quarterly town halls. We have, people who are present there and also on the screens. So just to talk a little bit about how we have partnered with Awarco for the past 2 years. We wanted to, besides, creating a culture of recognition that is very important for us as part of our culture as well. I'm sorry. As part of my job, I lead the wellness program in Abarca. So that also ingrains a lot in our values and our culture, just like focusing on employees' well-being and wellness overall. So we started, with award code, doing company recognition, starting a culture of recognition. We had a very good engagement. However, when I started, planning on wellness activities for our employees, we decided to leverage, our code for that, and that's where the Earn program came in. Yeah, so as you can see here, the Fit Master Challenge, this was, I'm saying was because it's sort of like evolution into something else. But when we started using the earning program, it was with a challenge called the Fit Master Challenge. So this was basically a 4-week challenge where employees had to sign up, and we would basically plan for them different wellness challenges uh, on physical health, mental health, psychological health, anything related to wellness. And when we started, gathering feedback from people, we basically figured that competition is super important for our employees, and I think for everyone, right? Competition with yourself and others just makes things more exciting. So I said, like, you know what, let's explore the Earn program. And I have to give a shout out here to Steven. He's our consultant from Awardco. He basically helped me set up everything. So what we basically did was just create, it was like a different section of Awardco just for the employees that engaged in this program. And essentially what it was is you had to log in everything that you completed while in the challenge, right? So just to give you an example, 2 of the challenges that were the most popular ones were 10,000 steps challenge a day, and also drinking at least 24 ounces of water a day. So you could see how all of the participants literally every day logged in their steps, logged in their ounces of water, and as they progressed, through the challenge, they would earn points. And of course, you could see many people at the beginning were super competitive, like, oh, let's all log in the steps. I want to win this. But then you could, towards the end, see people that actually took it super serious. And as you can see there, the total step count for one of our challenges was over 17 million steps as a whole, right? And as a whole group. So the EARNS programs definitely was something that, created competition, created engagement. People were going into the platform. And while they used the EARN program, they were like, oh, actually, let me recognize someone else in the company. So we wanted to create more traffic into the platform as well. But definitely the EARN program enhanced our wellness challenges immensely. And now currently we are also using them to, of course, give prizes to our employees. And now they're getting accustomed, that when something happens, when there's like a special event, they're like, oh, so we're going to get award code points if we go or if we participate. So that's what we're trying to create now as part of our wellness and our culture as a whole in Abarca.
I love it. That engagement is just incredible. 1,000 plus submissions. So we knew that was something to highlight, and definitely it's a great use case to use an EARN program is to promote wellness within the organization that you're part of, just because employee wellness is more important than ever, and it's definitely a big conversation nowadays. So I'm Brandon, and I'm going to show you all here and joining the workshop today how to implement a similar program to what Abarca has done. There's a lot or not quite a lot, but there's some steps to take when you're setting up an EARN program. So, but I'm going to go through the minimum amount of clicks it takes to set up an EARN program. And if you have any questions about any settings I didn't go over, we're going to send up follow-up documentation, help articles to help you make sense of every setting here on the EARN program. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into a test platform and kind of build the basics of a wellness EARN program, similar to what Abarca has done. So I have my test platform, and I am an admin here, and I'm going to go into the admin portal and click on the settings tab, and then access EARN program settings. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new program here, and I will call it the monthly mental health activity for this fake organization that I have here. So then I'll have it start today, and I won't have an end date right now, but I'll create that program. And then I'll have an image right here. I have this one of a mountain smiling. And so you can input a description here. The Learn More link is a great way for you to just, if you want submitters of this program to know of like the certain qualifications that it takes to submit an earn program, you can say something along the lines of must be one of these approved activities. So, and then you can just provide more detail there. So I'm gonna go into the next settings and keep my reward giver as the general recognition account. I want everyone to be eligible, and then I'm gonna make it so that only users can only submit one submission per month. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a limit. All users are eligible, and I'll have the frequency be 1 time per month. And I want them to know that from on the front end, and then I'll add that rule, and there I have it added. So, and then I have a wellness budget I want these points to come from. And then maybe I want to approve these submissions. Maybe I don't want all of them to go through. Maybe I need to take a closer look at in my queue to see if they are approved. So I'm going to turn on the approval, and I'll just add 1 level of approval. Any submission higher than 0 points is to be approved by this user that I am impersonating here, Dan Anderson. And I'll click Save. So there I have my approval level set. I'm going to go to this display section. Yeah, I'll have these submissions post to social feed just so that everybody can see on the public feed all the great wellness activities people are doing. And I'll have the display amount as points, and then a preset amount of maybe they can earn 25 points each submission. And then I'll have the reward note be, this will show up on the recognition when a user is approved. It'll just be kind of a little message I have here of I prioritize my mental health. And I want the user to comment on the submission, and that comment prompt will be, what have you done to take care of yourself? And when they submit that earn request, I want them to kind of go in and make some tags. So we've shown tags in the past, and these tags are a great way to organize your company values. But in this case, I wanted to kind of make it a way for users to categorize the mental health activity that they did. So maybe it helps either their emotional well-being, financial, occupational, or physical well-being. And I'll have the prompt be, how would you categorize your wellness activity as the tag label? And we'll see how this appears on the front end. And I'll make one of these at least required, and I will click Next. I'm going to add an additional question. I have my questions that I already configured, but I want maybe the submitter to show a picture or a video of the wellness activity they've done. So I'll add a question, and I'll have that question type be media. And it's like the question prompt is, show us what you did. And I'll allow for video and images to be submitted by the user. And I'll have that be required and save that. And then lastly, we have the notifications. I'll need to have a needs approval template to be sent to that approver, Dan Anderson. So I'll do earn approved email template, and you can view all the current email templates you have by clicking this button, and then you can go and add if you need to. And then I'll have an email sent to the receiver of the recognition, and that's just the standard one. And I'll click Finish. From the front end, what it looks like from a user perspective to submit an earn request through this program. I'll click on this Earn Rewards tab, and then here it is, my monthly mental health activity program. And there I can see how many times I can claim this reward. What have I done to take care of myself, submit that media, and then categorize the wellness activity. And then when this user, Dan Anderson, gets an earn request, they can go up in their queue, their approval queue, that is this little bell icon, and they'll go to my approvals. And I had one queued up here before this workshop. I submitted one that I prioritize my mental health to go paddleboarding with my dog. So I have the photo right there, and that's the recognition amount, and I can go ahead and approve or deny that. So yes, went through a lot of settings here in Earn programs, but I wonder if there's any questions in the chat that we can address. And if we don't get to it now, we'll get to it at the end of the workshop. But yes, everything pertaining to these settings and Earn programs, Earn ideas will be sent in a follow-up email after this workshop.
I love it. Thank you so much, Brandon. So friends, there you have it. The fewest amount of clicks to create a simple but powerful program just like Abarca. Now, Brandon, that was really fast, and I'm going to watch the video back, but how do I make sure that we're successful and that we didn't create anything that's going to embarrass us or get us in trouble? Well, just like Daniela mentioned, you have a Steven, and if you don't have a Steven, you have our DCSM team. They're so ready and willing to help you to, of course, dot the I's and cross the T's to make sure that your program's ready to go. But as you saw, that took Brandon less than 5 minutes. And you really can be thoughtful about the questions you're asking, prompting specific behaviors, right? When we're talking about Abarca, they were focused on the steps and the ounces, right? The ounces of water drink. So those behaviors, why are they valuable? Well, because Abarca is so invested in their people. They want to encourage those wellness benefits, of course. And those benefits can come in other ways than just monetary benefits through your benefits providers, right? Rather than, we can just encourage you with a little fun to get together and do a competition and see who can get the most steps in. So I want to go back to Daniela. She doesn't know that I'm doing this, but we're going to put on a spot for just a few seconds. Tell us about your prizes, right? When somebody won, how did you choose those who won? What were the prize amounts? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so to encourage competition, of course, I remembered about this when you were setting it up. So people were they could earn points either just by entering the amount of steps that they made or the amount of ounces of water that they drank. But if they included a picture, they would get extra points. If they included like a testimony or like details of what they did, they would get other extra points. So I would that I had to do manually, but to be honest, it was so fun that it's okay. I mean, probably there's a better way to do it, but at least I did it manually, like just, putting up the points and adding up at the end who won. And I also gave out participation points, which that is also good because it keeps people motivated. You don't really have just to win the most amount of steps, but just by participating. So for participation points, we gave out Awarco points, so they were able to retrieve them afterwards. And for the main winners, we gave out gift cards.
I love it. If you had to total the total amount of dollars or monetary amount spent on this specific program, like not including your license or things like that, but what was the prize money total?
In total for all the winners?
Yeah. Give us a rough estimate.
I would say less than $500.
Okay. I knew the number was low, right? And I really wanted to call that out because the program itself, the organization of the information and the invitation to act really was what engaged everyone. 17 million steps for only $500. That's a huge win. So friends, really, I think there's two things here. With Daniela, she had a point value system for different things that she did, right? And you got different points. But in the end, she really just massaged out a couple of prizes and gift cards and said, if you're the winner or if you participated, here's what you get. Okay. This is the power of recognition when it's organized and when it's driven by an organized program. And I think Abarca really accentuates this idea of give them the opportunity. A lot of them really do just want to have higher wellness standards for themselves. She was telling us earlier about some of the anecdotes of someone said, oh, I was a couch potato before this, and now I've done X amount of steps in the last month. Those types of wins and anecdotes really do add up, especially when we can tell those stories to our stakeholders. So thank you so much, Daniela, for sharing that. I want to go to some FAQs, and Daniela, I'm going to pick on you again because we have some questions that I think some of our admins might want to know about. So first question is, how can I ensure high engagement in our Earn Wellness programs? What did you do to ensure that you had high engagement?
Well, first of all, keep it fun. People going in and making it a habit of every morning. It was cool because you could see that there were like the early risers who would count in their steps super early, and then the ones that did it in the evening. So we created a habit there. And also creating, engaging others from your team to do it makes it fun as well. So that's what created engagement. Something also important, and this also I got help from Steven. When we started the program, we're like, oh, how can we download the app into our phone so it's easier to log in the steps or the water ounces on our phone. So I basically just forwarded the instructions of the award code, how to do it. I forgot about the name of that section, but it's really helpful. So I forwarded that, and many people were able to download that on their phone. So it was easy, fun, and you got a prize or you had competition. So that's, I think, the most important thing that you have to do, make it fun and engaging.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I want to call out here as well, Arlene in the chat is a big proponent of Abarca's success in terms of their programs. Arlene also wanted to call out that everybody won something, right? Whether it was that social recognition, whether it was the habits that came after. She says many continued those new healthy habits after the challenge, and residual benefits that are not monetary are some of the best benefits. So again, thank you, Arlene, for chiming in and sharing those wins as well with the rest of us. Okay, next question for you. What types of wellness challenges can be included in the EARN program? So you hinted a little bit to your FitMaster program that you've done in the past. Give us some ideas of what you're doing now.
So yeah, in the FitMaster, we did the 10,000 daily steps challenge. This year, what we did, since after we received feedback, it was the one that people liked the most. We only did 10,000 steps challenge, also with the EARN program. But besides that, we did the 24 ounces of water, a healthy habit. So, just when you started the program, you had to identify something that you wanted to improve or something that you wanted to achieve, and then log in just for accountability if you were able to do it or not that day. So that was a big one too. And then also a nutrition challenge. We haven't really done that. We're still figuring that one out, but pretty much, something related to nutrition where we can also use the EARN program to, improve something related to nutrition. So those are some ideas, but you can get super creative with that.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing just some off of the top of the head ideas, because really, friends, as we think about these EARN programs, creativity is something that we encourage, right? A lot of times there can be maybe a little bit of apprehension of, okay, let's launch this new program. Again, like we said before, lean on our resources, especially your friends in our customer success team, the DCSM team, or your own CSM. We'll give you that confidence, okay? And really, after you've done it a couple of times, Daniela is a pro, Arlene is a pro, and they just click the buttons and go with it now. They don't need our help anymore because they've had this experience where, yes, it's been successful. So thank you so much for those thoughts, Daniela. I appreciate it. I'm going to turn some of these technical questions to Brandon. So Brandon, how do I handle the verification of completed challenges?
Yeah. Maybe you only have a list of approved activities. You won't approve everything. Kind of like I showed in the demo, you can provide in that Learn More link, just let them know, hey, these are the approved activities you can only submit for. maybe you can have a question that only lets you select one of the available options and they can't proceed without selecting one of those. But you also have that added level of approval that you can add to just make sure that anybody approving those submissions can go in and say, okay, this is the information I see, I'll approve it or not. So those are kind of the three main ways you can handle the verification of whatever's submitted.
Beautiful. One more question for you, Brandon. Put you on the hot seat. What metrics should I track? All of us are really interested in showing the value, telling the story of, we did this program, we had this engagement, and now what? What does it mean, right? Point us in the direction of some of the metrics that we can track in order to see success from the program.
Yes, what comes to mind is, we have a lot of great reporting in the back end. There's the recognition details report, and you can filter by whatever earned program you create, and then you can see the number of submissions, the number of users submitting, and even if you have metadata provided in your user uploads, you can filter by maybe if you provide departments that have the highest engagements, different locations. Daniela mentioned that they have employees all across the globe or across the US and in Puerto Rico. Yeah, you can see what areas of your business have the highest engagement.
I love that. That's a great call out. Brandon is mentioning that in the back, when you can take that raw data, you can learn things like who is doing the most steps, right? Are those in Puerto Rico the ones that are stepping most? Are those in Atlanta or throughout the 40 states, right? You can get a lot of this tangible data that can tell you sentiment, it can tell you engagement, it can tell you things about your employee group that otherwise it's just really valuable information that can help you make more strategic decisions in the future. So thank you for that. Get into the back end and look at our reporting.
And I think most organizations do employee satisfaction surveys. So I think if you compare all this data and then, compare it to whatever you gather from your employees, kind of just sentiment, a lot of numbers tell a story, but yeah, a lot of anecdotal evidence is helpful too when you just gather the sentiment of overall employees. Just how did you feel about this? Do you like that we have this program in place?
That's exactly right. In the professional world, as people professionals, you know that taking those anecdotes and taking those quantifiable metrics and pairing them together often tells the strongest story. So use those reports in the back end, of course, to tell you the quantifiables, but then go to the feed. Go to, like Arlene mentioned in the chat just recently, there is so much social energy that is not being recorded in a platform. Take those anecdotes as well and let them create this beautiful story for you so that when you go to your stakeholders and you're looking for a little bit more budget, maybe you want to do $1,000 this next time instead of $500, you have that evidence, you have that story that's compelling enough to say, our people matter and they are engaging in this. That we really do care about their health, we do care about their engagement, and we've got the evidence to prove it. So, let's wrap this all up in a pretty bow. Okay, so Abarca, thank you so much, Daniela, and Arlene, thank you so much for sharing your story today. Key takeaways for our audience. Behavior can be affected with recognition and incentives. Again, I want to call out this idea of be careful with that monetary value. Too much monetary value makes it, who knows, it might not have the same effect that you want it to. Daniela proved that with $500, you could get over 700 plus employees to engage in an activity to drink a whole bunch of water and 17 million plus steps, okay? Don't lean too heavily into your monetary incentives, but with the right engagement or with the right organization of those programs, you can get this engagement. Okay, another takeaway for us is utilize that tagging. Again, on the back end, we're talking about the reports. If they go in and tag specific things, again, this is helping you break up the data into what does our employee group value? Are they valuing the steps more or are more people drinking water? That might just be one or two examples, okay? And then last but not least, and we've touched on this 101 times and we'll keep preaching the gospel of tailoring your questions in the exact valuable data. So to extract valuable data, what we're talking about here is those prompt questions. When you go into your earn program, don't just say, what did you do? Brandon shared a question that was more of, what did you do to invest in your own personal health? And then enable things like your videos and your pictures. Brandon really does get out on pedalboard with his dog. I've seen it before. Okay, so thank you, friends. Really, these are our takeaways for today. Thank you, Abarca. Thank you, Arlene. Thank you, Danielle. And thank you all for joining us today. We'll stick around if there's any more questions in the chat to help answer some of your questions. But last but not least, we want to remind you, if you didn't receive an email about our community beta, which is going live end of this month, please reach out. We'd love for you to get involved. We'd love for you to help build that organization, that community with us. That's all for us today, friends. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.